Well, thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
Yes.
Okay, so I wanted to jump right in, and I've got a question I've been excited to ask you because I've had a chance to meet you before, and we've gotten a chance to work together some. And so on your LinkedIn, I thought this was so fantastic. It says you describe yourself as someone who's driving sustainable, employee-centric solutions with operational excellence. Can you unpack what that looks like inside of Aflac right now?
Just all those hats that you just said. I really want a holistic approach when we approach our design strategies. My experience has been complete opposite. So that's why I kind of put a bunch in that whole
I
sentence.
love it.
It's, everything is workplace. Workplace touches each employee. So putting a high level of importance on each part of it is essential. So we talk about sustainability that supports our ESG, that supports our, interface to our outside customer, our inside customer, feels that as well. So we want to make sure that we put that at the forefront versus an afterthought. Employee-centric design, that's just common sense. You want to make sure that, whatever solution you are driving is supporting productivity and the people that it affects. So that's first and foremost. And, just thinking about space, workplace is so important to me, something that I'm truly passionate about. The design is for people. I love people, and I feel kind of reluctant when I say that because that wasn't my focus initially coming into the design field. I was into the aesthetics, Yes, I understood when I dropped my little people in my renderings, but what do those people truly stand for?
So good, Lelitha.
That's a big deal. So, now that I've had some experience in the industry and I start to realize just how important space is to people, like people have gotten violent with me like over artwork. So it's a big deal. Like people are attached to their spaces, and for us to come together as designers and facility managers and really put so much thought and passion into it, that just means so much to me.
That's so beautiful. You graduated from Art Institute.
Yes.
I have a design degree as well. And you are so spot on. I don't think I've ever thought about it like that. But I used to obsess over which of those little grayed out human figures I'd put. Like, is that someone sitting? Do I like the shape of that shadow figure? Or like the blurry person, in the
distorted people in the background.
Always. But you're so right. It was always about the aesthetic. It was about you get these exciting opportunities to do these, non-realistic things in design school. And so you're released into the world and you get to do these cool things. And you get kind of excited about the aesthetics.
And you recognize their impact now.
Yes.
It's hugely impactful. And that's the part that really resonates with me. It's just the impact. When I walk down the corridors at, our large campuses and people light up when they see me coming, like that makes me feel like I did something right.
Oh, absolutely. So how are you having to, what's your internal research look like? Because you do create spaces for quite a wide variety of Aflac employees. I mean, we were talking right before we pressed record about the customer service and claims teams. I mean, with a 15-minute break, you have to be so strategic. But that's totally different than some of the teams at the main campus.
That's right. So really, again, it's back to the people. So I don't know anything. I wear a design hat, I wear a facilities management hat, but on the flip side, you have to, in order to understand these spaces and what people do, you have to get out there. You have to go do what they do, essentially sit in their seat and walk their walk. So that's a large part of my research.
Oh, yeah.
It's going out having coffee with my friends.
It's perfect.
Building.
Shucks.
That's fun stuff. But, there is a mission with that. It's going out and talking and engaging and truly understanding what the day-to-day activity looks like. I like to do the mapping. I credit OFS for that, for being able to show me how to map a day, because now when I go out, there is a method to the madness. There's not just open dialogue. It's more pointed discussion about, hey, do you stop in? Do you get your coffee first? You move from the break room, you go to your seat, you get set up, all your bags. How many bags are you bringing in? There's very detailed questions, and our employees look at me and they're just like, Jesus, I feel like you really did a good job of finding out who I am and what I do. And being that we have so many different departments, that looks different for each one.
I think the best design comes together when people don't know why it's so perfect. They just walk in and feel at home.
Yeah.
Like they just come into the office and there's a place for all their bags. Or for me, there's a place for all 4 of their beverages. That would be like 4 beverages at any given time. But someone thought through that.
Yes.
And you might not even consciously know as the employee
Right.
why it's so awesome. But every time you show up, you just feel like you've been seen and heard.
Yes.
So y'all are up against some big changes, though. I mean, you've got quite a few projects.
Oh, tell me about it.
On
We
your
just
plate.
went through a whole list before I got here. Got a reminder. Make sure we check in on that when I get back tomorrow. So I'm headed straight back to the office. But again, it's something that I love. So we've got from A to Z happening.
I know
right
you
now.
do.
We've got another round of return to office. We've got to repopulate buildings that we essentially thought that we would not ever come back to. That's a big
Wow.
deal. So your strategy from 2-3 years ago is evolutionized at this point. So now you're looking at, repopulating spaces that you didn't think you would be going back into. Now you got to redensify a couple spaces that you might have loosened up during the process. But for us, I guess more so the challenge is trying to anticipate future. We don't have a crystal ball.
No.
So now we're having to plan more flexible solutions to be able to pivot when necessarily. Because it's coming.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's why I have a little bit of an irk with the word future proofing.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't feel like it's something that's all that possible. Now, I know it doesn't mean like literally
Right.
making sure that nothing ever comes your way that's impossible to hit. I mean, of course, we're going to have hurdles and things like that. But
Right.
just that idea of like, we're just all trying to set ourselves up for the most success possible.
Right. And that was one thing that I learned here is like, I hate to backstep. I don't want to
Yeah.
backpedal. Some of that you can't avoid, but if there's a way that I can, educate myself, with knowing what's out there that can help anticipate some of that, I really want to equip myself. One thing we weren't prepared for when we went away for the pandemic is just, knowing where people are.
Gosh,
How do
yeah.
you even know where people are? How do you know to prepare for people if you don't know where they are? Creatures of habit, previously you can predict where people were going to be. I have no clue where they're going to be now, but it's
Man.
still my job to make sure that space is ready for you when you come in. So how do I do that? We've
So-
got to start researching more.
Yeah. I mean, what is that? So for you personally, what does success look like at Aflac?
It's a broad
Yeah, it
brush,
is.
and you can narrow it in just from what I hear from a C-suite perspective is, bringing people back, bringing the culture back. Culture is number one for us. We're the duck. We're the people that, love people and want to take care of people. So naturally, internally, we want to take care of our internal Aflac family. So, that's a big deal for us. We want to make sure that whatever solution we come up is truly supportive of our people. How do we get there?
Yeah, we are the duck. I love that so much. I got a preview. This is about a year ago, I think. But the small book that employees receive. Do you want
The
to talk
Aflac
about that a
Way.
little bit? Yeah, the Aflac Way. I think that is one of the most unique and beautiful things about Aflac.
Yes. So the Aflac Way is our promise. That's truly our promise of what we are committed to do, the values that we are committed to uphold. And that's something that's like our Bible for
Yeah.
the duck people. And so that's something that we kind of go through regularly is, communication is a big part of that. Communication is a huge factor in any relationship. I'm communicating with my husband the whole time I'm here. He's like worried about me walking the streets of Chicago. I'm fine. I hopped in an Uber when it got dark. I made
Yes.
it. But communicating regularly, making sure that we respond immediately, all these things run in our minds like a script to make sure that, our efforts are seamless, consistent, and, truly supportive of our customer base as well as our employees.
Well, and I'm sure that changes your approach to design too.
Yeah.
Because you're not just thinking, kind of going back to the beginning of our conversation, you're not just thinking, check the box. You're not just thinking, I want to do this really cool green wall in here.
Yeah.
Like, you're thinking, green wall sounds great if it matches everything that is
Yes.
the Aflac Way.
That's
if
right.
it also mirrors with
Right.
what we're trying to give our employees an opportunity to do, how we want them to be, how we want them to feel.
Right.
That's so special.
That's exactly that. You read it to a T. That's what I want to ultimately achieve. Right now, you've been to visit us, you come in and, there's a different look and feel in every building. That should be consistent. And ultimately, that's what we want to find a solution to.
I think it's just, what's that phrase? Like, acknowledgement is the first step or something like that.
That's right.
I mean, really, just the fact that y'all know, like, okay, it's not where we want it to be yet.
Yes.
We're going to get there, but it's not where we want it to be.
Yes.
What does that process look like in talking to your fellow employees? I mean, they know what you do. They know, are you having to like walk them through the middle?
Yeah, there's a lot of that. But what I found as a sweet spot is really me doing my homework and becoming the expert to be able to put the scenarios in front of them and as simply as possible to be able to say, hey, this is what I heard you say. This is what I believe you need. And you can talk that person through it, but I've also had to illustrate it in a way that's understandable. A lot of times, we go back to floor plans, we do renderings. Technology is amazing now. People still don't quite get it. It's a space. So having it in 2D or 3D, it's just, really, some people don't get it. So I've created some mock spaces, what we're calling the workplace of the future space,
love that.
Where I can actually take an employee, a team member, whomever would be the stakeholder at that point, up and walk them through a space and truly let them feel it. And when you let someone feel it, there's a connection there. And then there's that undeniable energy that says, yeah, this works for me. Yeah. I can touch this. I can sit here. I can push the button and have adjustability and see what that feels like versus saying it or writing it on a paper. So that's where I've been most successful, is being able to create the actual space and bringing people to it.
I was literally just about to ask you about the mock-ups, because I know that you guys have done, industry term mock-up. I like what you guys are calling it better, the workplace of the future. But how does that process work? Because I'm sure that everybody wants an opinion.
Yeah.
Is the space kind of closed off and then you make an appointment, or are they allowed to just kind of go through it whenever?
So it's been pretty pointed at this point. We've targeted our leadership of, getting that buy-in from the top down. But even before we actually brought the leadership over, we wanted to make sure that we heard what the employees needed. So that way, when we communicate to the leadership team, we can say, hey, this has been successful and here's the feedback we received. Now, it was a little bit of back and forth because now we're kind of focused more so on the leadership perspective to drive the strategy. But at the same time, on the front end, there was that research of the coffee conversations and having them walk through as teams to be able to collaborate with us. Partnering has been, a huge success for us. We've had our HR team come over, making sure that, we're not doing anything offensive. We want to make sure that we're always in bounds. Even from an IT and technology perspective, coming in and having them, and that'll blow your mind. Just to hear,
No doubt.
from people who are just not in the design realm, period, and just truly focus on, this integration of technology and design. That was great. We also had ergonomic evaluation, which we know we trust our vendor resources, but we do have a team that specializes on that in-house, so they know what's specific to our employee base. So there's been a lot of people that have come through that just really have given us critical feedback that we're able to now kind of tweak that design and make sure it's perfect before we get in front of the decision makers.
I think there's something so powerful about that, Lelitha, because I don't know how often companies are going to their employees first.
Yes.
Before, and I mean, I know enough about y'all's leadership team to know that they're incredible people. They're also very employee centered and employee focused, but still to give the power and autonomy in some ways to the people that will be experiencing that space before you bring in leadership.
Yeah.
Because leadership does have a different way of looking at things.
That's right.
They're not probably going to sit at that specific desk day in and day out or experience that. We were talking about the different kind of phone booth evaluations y'all are doing and all that. They might have a solution a similar solution in their space,
Mm-hmm.
but it won't be the same constraints.
No.
It won't be the same schedule that they're up against. So you're having the fact that you guys are spending so much time, or you specifically really spending so much time talking to the employees before letting leadership weigh in so that you can educate them too.
Correct.
Here's why we came up with this. Before you think this isn't what we thought we were going to see, here's why we landed here already.
Right.
And to let them feel that kind of the power of the people.
Yeah.
The power of the duck, if you will.
Yeah, that's right.
Before they look at it. I mean, I think that's something somewhat unique to Aflac, and I think it's beautiful.
It is. It very much. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Okay, so you have a precious little boy at home.
I do.
How old is he now?
4 years old.
4 years old. Oh, it's so
it's wearing me out.
I know. So how has that changed how you approach design?
Well, it gives me a very unique perspective because I think with my heart a little bit more. I design with my heart because he helps me see through a completely different lens. I start to think about how mothers are affected by the workplace. I start to think about, coming back from COVID and having to, still pump and where I want to store it. So there's inclusion of those things that, are a huge driver for me. Having spaces to take a break, room booths.
Yes.
It's been big. We're piloting, 2 locations right now, which has been a great from a wellness aspect as well. Because sometimes mornings are not, seamless in our house.
I have no idea what you mean. Our mornings are always very smooth.
A 4-year-old who did not want to wear shoes today, and you're stressed to the max before you even get into the office.
Yes.
Where do you decompress throughout the day? Can I go scream in a pillow somewhere? Those type of details run through my mind now. I want to make sure that, I might have had to go run and grab dinner, on my lunch break, tuck it away in the refrigerator so that way I can be efficient during my day to make sure that there's a balance there. So there's all these things that changes the moment that you bring a little life into this world where you no longer think about yourself. And I think it's really helped me, to grow as an individual, as a designer, as a professional, to really think all encompassing. There's so many other things that people have to worry about throughout their days that we have to account for.
I mirror that. I love that. Your perspective is beautiful. My boys are 8 and 5.
Oh, good.
So just a couple years ahead of you.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how it was very humbling. I mean, that's a common thing you hear from parents, but I think I've always kind of been a self-proclaimed overachiever. I'm going to get there early, right? I'm going to get there early. I'm going to be prepared. That meeting that's not going to surprise me. I'm not going to be coming in hot. Like that was always, I just took a lot of selfish pride in owning my own everything. And then those little ones come in and you can do everything in the world right.
Yeah.
And if they don't want to put shoes on, you are going to be late. You just are.
They're not going to do it.
Or if you show up and it was character dress up day, you can't leave that little one in there.
You got to go
shorts and a t-shirt. You got to turn around, go home and get that costume or else their whole world is over.
That's right.
And it really does humble you a little bit to realize I show up as my best possible self, but some days my best possible self is already tired or just a little bit stressed.
Right.
Or, the opposite end, it's a great day, but you got to leave earlier than you want to because there's a baseball practice or they don't feel good and you get a call from the school nurse. And
that's right.
It's just, it opens a whole new world of that empathy towards other working parents.
That's correct.
Men and women. They're just so much that's going on inside the head of a parent.
Exactly.
Or my own parents are walking through aging, their aging parents, and that's kind of got its own similar but different story. When you're responsible again.
Correct.
But not for your child, but for your parent, it's got a similar, if the phone rings,
gotta go.
You gotta go.
It's a fine line.
Yeah, it is. It's a fine line because you expect people to come to the office to do the job that they were hired to do, to stay, keep their head in the game, get the things done. But we have this growing understanding of empathy and people are people.
Yeah.
People are people.
And you just got to focus on the people and support people and what their needs are. And that's really that's where we are. It's not negotiable at this point.
Thinking of that, has there been a space in any of the Aflac campus that you've worked on where you feel like, man, we just really hit it out of the park on this one? Like that you've been super proud of a space that just...
Absolutely. So we did a project that's in our original building, which is our building. It's a 2-story building that's connected to our iconic tower. So we did a space there where we just utilized the existing footprint. We didn't change walls for the most part. We added a little bit of glass, but it was furniture and finishes. And to me, that spoke volumes to what the power of furniture and finishes are. These buildings are functional. Furniture is not. Furniture might be ugly, but that doesn't mean that the space is broken. So the solution is not a wholesale, like, start from scratch. It's a puzzle. And that's what I'm there to solve. So, okay, well, what's working? Okay, check that box. We're going to leave that right there. What do we need to improve? Okay, furniture. Oh, that's easy. I got partners for that. And so we were able to create some spaces that don't have the walls anymore. We don't have to worry about that. We lightened and brightened it. We interjected some new furniture, and this furniture is flexible solutions right now. You know, it has its aches and pains right now because people don't really know how to use it. That's the one thing we have to figure out.
I agree.
But it's flexible enough where you know what you can go do in there. You know, you can go take a break. You can, we have this thing now where people are putting together a lot of puzzles as part of wellness. And so you can break away from your individual workspace. You can come over and work on a puzzle. So you can take a break there. You can also eat your meals there. There's no cafeteria in our tower. So that was one thing that we were able to address with this. So in just creating a space where people come together, that's huge for us. So, you know, coming back to the office, the mission is to empower people to collaborate, to connect when they come into the office. Where do they do that? Not in a 70-inch high cube wall. You have to come out of the silo, you know, let's come together. And so creating those spaces has been truly impactful for us because it's intentional, you know. Let's shrink down those individual footprints, which I know people's hearts are breaking as I'm saying this right now. Like, no, I don't have a shelf for my ducks, and I need my shelves. I need my bins for my snacks, and you create bugs and facility nightmares. But we got to get rid of that. But guess what you're going to get?
Yeah.
A space where you can actually connect with your team. You can be productive. You can have conversations. You came into the office for a reason, so we're giving you a space to do that. You can do all your heads down stuff at home. You don't need that space here. Just a little bit of it, but the rest of it, let's come together.
I think that is such a great example. That's actually not, I don't know what I thought you were going to say, but that wasn't what I thought you were going to say. And I love that so much because you have to balance, especially being over these multiple campuses. There's an element of that sustainability and stewardship that you have to own. And that's tough.
Yeah.
Because when you're dealing with old spaces, kind of sometimes the easy answer feels like, let's just knock out the whole thing.
Yeah.
But the sustainability story of that is not good.
Yeah.
So showing that you can take a space that had uglied out and just give it new life with paint and daylight and bringing some of those, you know, vertical barriers down, and then give them a space to learn how to collaborate outside of their own office. You need a duck shelf, but maybe it just doesn't need to be
30 years of ducks. You don't have to display.
You know what they do? They feel like they do.
They really do. I want to try to convince them otherwise.
Yes, it's going to be okay.
Can we just show the last 15-ish years versus 30?
Okay, I have one more question for you, Lelitha. Okay, what brings you joy?
Joy. Where do I find joy? I find joy in my family. I find joy in making them happy, seeing them happy. My husband is so simple. He gets joy out of the smallest thing. I wish I could be that way. I think it has to be a little bit more elaborate for me. But for me to just wake up and fix him a cup of coffee, he's like, oh, thank you. I'm like,
new goal, be more like him.
Coffee, you know, but if he were to make me coffee, I'd have a complaint about it. Like, that's not usually how I have it. So it's hard for me to say what brings me joy, but I really do get joy coming into the office every day. It's not a job for me. It's something like I was built for. I started
I believe
planning
that.
in high school. I had an instructor that saw that fire in me and pointed me in a direction. I went and did my degree. I finished my 4 year and 3 because I was just like, I don't want to take any summer breaks, unheard of. But I went through all my summer breaks. I just love design.
Then
I
you got
love
your MBA.
people. I did go get my MBA. I'm finally getting to use my MBA.
Amazing.
I really enjoyed doing the MBA program because it taught me to think with a method and a strategy. And up until this point, I really hadn't done that. But when we're starting to talk about evolutionizing space, that's where that's coming into play. I recognize that now, but at the time I was just like, I'm going to go to school again, but not really seeing the use for it. Of course, how everybody in the program's like, one day I'm going to open my own business. Do not want to open my own business. There's so much liability there.
Yes.
So I want to be under the wings of the duck, but I get to use that now. So those are things that bring me joy, just doing what I love to do and being connected with my family. I have 2 brothers. I have my parents that are here. So being able to spend time with them, and those are things that make me happy. My family, what I do, I'm passionate about both.
Well, I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
And it is so fun to sit and talk with you always. This has been such a delight. It really is. I mean,
I
it means so
appreciate
much
it.
to me. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you for the coffee.
Oh, you are
Appreciate
so
it.
welcome. I hope it brings you joy.
It will bring you joy, and it is the way I like it.
Good. Yes. Nailed it. Well, thank you so much, Lelitha. You're the best.
Thank you.
All right, Emily, thank you so much for sitting down with me. We just had the pleasure of meeting about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, it was great.
I feel like we're already friends. I'm so excited you're here. Okay, so first off, what do you do for Turner and Townsend at Meta?
Oh, it's a great question. I feel like I've been, a lot of people have asked me that, and I'm always struggling to keep it quick because I do so much.
I love that answer.
So I'm doing global workplace design at Meta. But when you say that, people are like, what are you talking about? What does that actually mean?
Right.
And it can be anything from a small conference room renovation for a VP to relocating teams across campuses to tenant improvements, partnering with architecture firms, to campus repositioning. It's a little bit of everything. We sometimes I'm just talking to somebody about a micro kitchen and how to improve that experience, signage, and how to get people to not try to camp in these rooms.
Right, and live in them all day.
Yeah, so sometimes things that come across my desk and I'm like, okay, I'm going to deal with this today.
That sounds really fun. No lack of entertainment, I'm sure.
No, the days go super fast. Oh, yeah, I should also mention the other part of my job is handling user tasks. So there's a whole internal system of...
So what does that mean?
Meta has a whole... If you work for Meta, you have the ability to submit requests for your workplace. So it could be anything from my team wants to do a space hack, we want to do something in our space to personalize it, or it could be as simple as I have glare on my screen, help me. I get a lot of those requests.
I'm sure.
And I want more privacy, that kind of thing.
How does that seems complicated because I can only imagine, I'm putting words in your mouth, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I can only imagine that there are probably a set of standards that you have to work within. You can't just check every box. If someone's saying I really want a pink fuzzy chair, how do you manage that? The personal user requests with the fact that you are at a campus or an office that has standards.
Yeah. I mean, thank God for standards.
Yeah.
Because you could only imagine what people would want to do or could do. And sometimes, frankly, they do just do it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But there are obviously standards. So, we find ways to appropriately respond and, tell them these are the options. There's 1 or 2 options for everything.
Yep.
And if it's completely out of our scope or realm, you kind of just find ways to still reach the standards, but, answer or help them
That makes
with their
sense.
space.
Okay, so I dove right into Meta, but I'm going to back up a little bit. Okay, so you're previously at Gensler.
Yes.
And got to work on some of their projects. And you mentioned a lot of different companies within the tech space. Of course, in San Francisco, that makes a lot of sense, right? There are a lot of those companies out there. So what has been the biggest difference, or what are some of the biggest differences going from the design side at a firm to the design side for the end user? Has that been a big change, or maybe not as big as you would have thought?
I think it has been a fairly big change, but yeah, Gensler for sure prepared me well. Because I had worked with like so many different tech companies, I was able to kind of see what each of them were doing and what they did well. And, you know, tech is the range, Meta is one of the largest ones.
Right.
But there are so many smaller companies. And I do like learning from them, ones that are kind of just starting off and figuring it out, because they're a little bit more willing to test things and experiment. And I love doing that. And so just like learning so much from them and being able to bring that to Meta has been amazing. But yeah, I mean, as far as the design side and like what I do, I would say my day-to-day is very, very different. Being focused on a single client, but many, many things within their sphere. And then previously being on several different projects and being the traditional interior designer.
Right.
Is just much different.
So
I think I'm more so managing and leading a team than in the nitty-gritty as much.
Yeah.
Which I'm enjoying, you know, taking a little bit of a different approach to a project.
Yeah.
You know, so, and that's kind of what attracted me to make the switch, is that I had been doing, you know, the full test fitting, schematic design, design development, construction documents, CA. I did it all for 10 years.
Yeah.
And that was amazing. But I just wanted to learn what it was like fully on the other side. And I think I thought I knew what it was. Like I'd working with Meta, working with the client, and I realized that the face behind the one person that I interacted with was like 200 people.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
yeah,
this is why this happens and that happens and this happens.
Yeah, I think that's such an interesting perspective, because you get inside, you know, behind the curtains.
Yeah.
And you realize that, like, even though you're now maybe at 30,000 feet or 20,000 feet or, you know, kind of higher up in the process.
Yeah.
And you're not doing the CDs necessarily yourself or
Yeah.
the test fits yourself. There's so much more to be done.
Yes. Getting it
this space has to be
approved.
efficient. Yes. Getting it
Yes.
approved. This space has to make money.
Yes.
Like that's
Yeah.
important. Like
Yeah.
the employees in here have to be able to work really productively and come in and be happy, because if they don't get their work done, then this space doesn't work. It's not effective.
Yeah.
And the other thing that you said that I think is super cool about the tech spaces. So when OFS acquired Room, they were very tech focused. Like they were very
they were popping up everywhere.
Yes, they were popping up everywhere.
Everywhere.
And it was super tech driven. Like
Yes.
they understood their data and how to work with it. And we've learned so much from each other because they had this tech focused mindset, which is super different. We are very advanced in the manufacturing, of course. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So it's been super interesting to kind of see that blend. Have you learned, being within the tech company now, about more sides to the tech business than you had known previously?
Yeah, I think like even within global workplace design, like you got to stay agile. Things can change at any second. Like, and I give so much credit to our partners, because like at any given time during the day, we could tell them we're going in this direction. And then, 10 minutes later, an hour later, the direction can change.
Yeah.
And that is because we are honestly taking so many things into consideration. And there are so many different teams at Meta that need different things.
Yeah, I'm sure. I can only imagine.
Yeah, we have our AI teams, we have Instagram teams, we have reality labs. There's just so many teams, and all of them are actually really do need different things in their workplace. So again, going back to the standards thing, we're like, we have to utilize the standards, but then start to like cater towards these teams.
Right.
So I think like the point of just like staying agile and like figuring out the most efficient and functional way to achieve things, And then as a designer background, I'm always like, but also aesthetics, people.
Yes.
So it's like combining those things. And then tech is always like, trying to do everything efficiently and cost efficiently.
Totally.
Like that's just the name of the game. Like we're trying to advance our AI systems. So like, yes, everybody has to make some cuts so we can advance that.
So when you think about some of this agility and like going into the workplace of the future, maybe that's an overused term, but
whatever it is, it's just
it is.
the workplace of now. I don't know.
Right. I mean, the future
the ever
is
changing
tomorrow and beyond, right? So it's kind of like, well, yeah, it's workplace of the
workplace
future
of
because
next month, next
Yes.
6 months is going to keep changing.
That's exactly right. So what are some of the things that you and your team are looking at that you think maybe is kind of different than what's out there that y'all are considering different coming from with a meta mindset as opposed to maybe what other people are thinking is the workplace of the future, quote unquote?
Yeah. I think it's really trying to find the ways to cater it towards the teams.
Yeah.
Because I think that's been something that historically has been difficult for any company of this size. And so Meta is going to continue to grow quite a bit. And the real estate might not necessarily be growing a ton, but we need to make the best use of our space, make it even better than it is now, and continuing to make it more functional, more aesthetically pleasing, more options for people to work, like have the variety, get people to go outside of their box on how they work, and so that they can try new things, they can get better at what they're doing. Sometimes like we can influence behavior with design, and I think trying to find real ways and solutions to do that, and honestly just doing it with furniture, testing things out, being more agile in the sense of, can we try this with this team and see if it works? And then instead of just making these like really big changes within a standards program.
I think that's a beautiful answer because you're right. Every team is going to need something different. And if you go too broad with it, someone's not going to be able to do their job.
Yeah. And we're kind of like, it's a really interesting balance.
When anybody thinks about, I think a lot of people that maybe listen to this are very familiar with what Meta does. They understand.
Yeah.
Meta is Facebook. Meta is Instagram. Meta is a lot of things. Mm-hmm. But the reality of the people behind
each team has a different personality, different culture.
Sure.
Instagram is very different from WhatsApp.
Oh, I'm sure.
And then they work differently.
Yeah, and they want to own who they are.
Yeah.
They're proud to be on the Instagram team.
Yeah.
They're proud to be part of the WhatsApp team.
For sure.
You would want to give them a little bit of that autonomy to be everything WhatsApp, to be proud, to feel a little bit different. But that would be I can only imagine how difficult that would be for you guys because you're having to limit them.
Yes, exactly. You're like, we're trying our best.
Yes, we're trying so hard to
make
you happy.
But I think that's the beautiful thing of design is sometimes it's simple things. I think that sometimes as designers we overcomplicate it.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, at the end of the day, it is very simple solutions. We could have a big, people could submit 1 million tasks around something. You're like, okay, you just want more power.
Right.
You're that's, okay, your
but
workplace
so
actually just needs, you just need more phone booths or something.
Yeah, you need more control. This person
Yes.
is really feeling the need to have some say in their space, so let's give them optionality.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is something that you think that we're doing in the workplace as a whole or in the industry as a whole? What's something we need to stop doing? What is a trend that you're seeing that you're just can we cut that out?
Oh, that's a great question. I feel like I need to think on it. I'm like, what's something I hate?
What's something that makes me angry?
There's a lot of funny little aesthetic things that I'm like, oh, eye roll. But, okay, so biophilia. Love biophilia. Biophilia is great. But can we stop thinking of biophilia so simple? We're biophilia, plants and green. Everything's green. And you're just people.
Everything's green right now.
Everything is green right now. And I'm like, people, biophilia does not mean plants and green. There are so many layers to achieving that and making people feel comfortable. And some companies, don't get me wrong, they do it amazingly. Mm-hmm. And I think just just like let's get creative. Like let's not all copy each other.
Yes.
I think like when I see things that are unique to that company's like really owning their aesthetic and not just like copying the other guy.
Yep.
I love to see that.
Yeah. So as the director of workplace, I spend a lot of time talking to end users about trends and things. And I get similarly really frustrated, less so with the biophilia as a in general, but I get really frustrated with the copycat thing where people really kind of hook onto a trend.
Yes.
And feel like that trend is going to fix things or that trend is, oh, that must be the answer.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and put in like, 10, 15 years ago, it was the benching solution. Everyone was doing benching. It was open plan benching for everyone.
Yeah. And then it just looked like a sea of desks.
It did.
It was horrible.
And if you were a tech startup, that may have been perfect for you.
Yeah.
And that may have been the very best solution for your team to feel productive and communal and collaborative. But also you may never get anything done for the rest of your career.
Yeah.
If you work in that space, you may be someone who that is the worst application for that. And so that's where I'm right there with you. Like it's a great idea, but let's slow down and think about who are we?
Yeah.
Who are our people? What do they come to do? And then is this solution going to serve them well? Or are we just doing it because we saw it in a bunch of magazines and feel like it's trendy?
Yeah.
And so, okay, us too.
Totally.
Like that gets so frustrating to me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like people say, like, what are you seeing now? Is it private offices? I'm like, whoa, let's stop right there.
Yeah. Let's not like make the pendulum swing too far.
Yes.
One way or the other.
Yes. I'm like, let's start with how do your people work?
Yeah.
Do they like offices? Then yes, let's talk about offices. But if they're not office people, then let's talk about ways to go outside of the office.
Yeah.
So with a campus, that has to be so difficult.
Yes, it is. So, I mean, it's kind of what my whole year has been is like replanning the open office and figuring out how Meta can grow and scale, but we can help improve the open office. So it's really for us all about choice and variety and creating the array of experiences that a typical Meta user would have throughout their day. So traditionally, everybody has gotten the assigned desk. In the Bay Area, there are over 33,000 employees. So that's insane. Give everybody a desk.
So many desks.
It's insane. Like the logical thing to do as a tech company is like, okay, what resources do we have? Oh, we have data that can show us how people are actually utilizing the space. Badging data, room utilization data, observational studies.
I was just about to ask you that.
There's a whole research team that does really, really amazing work, like throughout the entire year, dedicated to research and understanding of trends, and then also how we're really utilizing that space. It's based on teams. They create great, amazing dashboards for me to understand.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's great. So what we're doing is really taking that data and trying to apply it to how we're planning for these teams. Teams are moving around through campuses. I mean, some teams will move entire campuses because of their growth.
Man.
So it's a huge, huge effort just to get like a team from one campus to the next.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Facilities. The facilities team has to be
gigantic. Yes, it is gigantic, and it's amazing. We have like these move teams, furniture logistics teams. Yeah, that was what probably like a sidebar. Probably the hardest thing for me to understand was like who all the key players are, what they do. So
because
just,
some companies
ask questions. I'm like, wait, what is your role?
Yes.
So what are you responsible for? Oh, you're important. Okay, great. I'm like,
and some companies have one person that probably does all 8 of those things.
Yes.
And so that would be a learning curve, at least for me.
Yeah.
To learn that where a smaller company can get by with one person, 3 people who are doing facilities, everything. We've got like teams of people that do just this one part of that one thing.
Yes. Yeah, and they're doing it for like a million different projects.
Yeah.
No, it's amazing. But so what we're doing is we're taking, we're basically moving to more of a utilization-based approach. So we are taking badging data and figuring out when people are actually coming to the office, where they're going, and utilizing that to
Yeah.
help assign and influence who gets an assigned desk, who's not really coming in enough. So basically, you don't really need that. If you're only coming in 1 to 2 days a week, you can
Hot
be,
desk.
yeah, exactly. So we're calling it co-working. You know, everybody has their names for hot desking, hoteling, whatever.
Yes.
We're calling it, you're part of the co-working teams.
Love it.
We are creating just a gradation of space. You know, as you enter into a Meta space, it's usually at a lobby, at a micro kitchen. That's the buzzy zone. That's
Yeah.
super lively. We want to create those to be more utilized, not just for your coffee, but maybe you're somebody who wants to sit there. You're a visitor, get lots of visitors.
Yeah. I like
Creating that like work lounge approach in those spaces, and really improving those outside of just being these like long cafes or like just a little pit stop. Like,
Right.
can you actually sit there and work? And then moving into the open office, like that gradation of experience. So like having a lot of like co-working choice and variety within that zone, and you're there to collaborate, you're there to meet with teams, you're intentionally coming in for that. And then if you do need that privacy, having, spaces that become a little more quiet, and then even like completely no talking.
Yep. Love that.
Yeah,
It
but then
sounds
trying
like
to
really
like
you're taking a great page out of the co-working book. Really,
Yeah.
I mean that's really what a great co-working space, quote unquote, like
Yeah.
a traditional co-working brand does really
Yeah.
well. They've got
Yeah.
that lively entry.
I always think of WeWork because
Yeah.
like it's just like that was like the originators of
Yes.
that experience.
I actually just got to tour their San Francisco office last week.
Oh, really?
Yes, the one in the Salesforce Tower.
Mm-hmm.
Spectacular.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So one thing I learned, actually, pivot here, but you talked about kind of the co-working spaces within Meta. So I'm learning that there are more and more enterprise clients using co-working spaces, like WeWork or the like, Industrious, anybody else, for part of their commercial real estate solution now.
Interesting.
They're allowing some of their employees to use these flex spaces as a part of their, maybe kind of that hub and spoke mentality. Like if you
Right.
don't live really close to the Meta headquarters, maybe you're right outside of town, or maybe you can more easily access a WeWork location, an Industrious, or whatever. Are y'all doing that as part of your real estate portfolio?
No, we're not doing that, but I could see like use cases for that.
Yeah.
For people who do utilize that. But I think honestly for like proprietary issues and like all of those things, like what are they accessing in their network?
Yeah.
Probably is my guess. I don't know, but I'm guessing that would be a reason.
And that's a very good point.
Yeah.
You would probably need a space that's very catered to enterprise if it was going to work.
Yeah. There is so many offices everywhere.
Yes.
So, and
it
I
shouldn't
think
be
like
very hard to find one.
people are coming, I think people do come into the office at Meta for that like cultural experience too. Like it's like you walk into a space and you're like, oh yeah, I know where I am. So I think
Sounds like y'all are doing great things. So what does success look like for you? Speaking of like people come in and they're excited to be there, like other than maybe space utilization or people per square foot or something like that, what to you means a space was successful? Like when you've finished it, what makes you feel like we nailed this?
Yeah, that's a great question too. I feel like that's always like, as designers, when we finish a project, we tend to like, we're so proud, we're so excited, but then you focus on all the things that could have been better.
Oh, for sure.
And that's always something I'm working on because I'm trying to be like, okay, it's never going to be perfect. It's always a work in progress.
We see floor transition
Yeah.
and can't take our eyes off of
Yeah.
where the tile meets.
You're like, oh, I wish I did this. I wish I did
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Or that one single metal reveal that has a nick in it. Whereas the grand scheme of things is
Yeah.
totally different.
So you kind of have to like pull yourself away from like our mindset of like all the things that we wish we could do better, because you're like, those will take as lessons learned. We'll figure out how to make it better next time. And I do think it comes down to like the post occupancy observational studies of like, are people utilizing the way you intended? Are they utilizing it different? Are you learning from it? Is there something like that can be improved upon? Or like, you introduce some new table system or banquette system, something, and is it being utilized? Do they like it? Are they doing something different? Yeah, doing something different. So I think that part is always, that's what's cool about being internal, is I can go and hang out in these spaces and like see that, like actually like, and it always stinks as on the architecture and design side, you have an FTOB and then it's like, goodbye.
Yes.
It's done.
That is
Never see
so
you again.
true.
Yeah, and unless you have the opportunity to continue to work with them, which is always great, but oftentimes we have to take our pretty pictures and we leave.
Yeah.
So it's so nice to be able to like sit in that space, see it, talk to people.
That's such a beautiful perspective. You are so right about that.
Yeah.
Like you could spend years working with a client.
It's crazy.
And then you get that slip of paper.
Yeah.
And you move on to a new project, and you don't get to see the smiles on the faces of the people when they show up and move in.
Yeah.
Move-in day is always like one of the happiest days. And usually you're probably not there. Your punch is over.
Yeah.
You're done.
Totally.
So sad.
I know. I'm always like, I mean, some firms are obviously focusing on finding the workplace strategy and people that will do those post-occupancy. But a lot of times what's unfortunate is like the end user will be like, oh, we don't need to pay for that. It's over. We're done.
I know.
Yeah. So you have to try to figure out like how to add value and make sure that like, no, it is really important.
One thing it sounds to me like you're doing so well is this openness to change. Like,
oh yeah, that's a given. Have to.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd probably be surprised how many people don't think that way.
Yeah.
Like you guys are creating these spaces, and you're like, we intend for it to be used X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
What if they come in and they use it like ABC instead of XYZ?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, we didn't think about it like that, but that's a different way of being successful. Let's do more of this. Let's see how this works.
Totally.
I love that.
We had these like peninsula tables, like the D-shaped tables.
Yep.
We like got rid of, just a really simple solution. Get rid of the 2-pack, put in this peninsula table. 3 people can come here.
Love that.
Hang out. And we're like, all right, like, is this going to work? Is it not going to work? So what we found was it worked, but people were moving monitors to those tables. And 3 people were working there, and someone was like dropping in, but they were like moving the power modules around. They're just kind of hacking their space.
Yeah.
And like,
oh yeah.
That's kind of a part of the meta culture and the values is like, yeah, it's totally fine to hack your space, figure it out. But then we do kind of want to take that and make sure it's aesthetic and cute, and we want to improve upon it. We don't want them to like do that everywhere. We're like, okay, we see that you're doing that, so like now let's try to figure out how to do that.
How can we support it intentionally
Yes,
rather
exactly.
than
Yeah.
the like you see an extension cord coming all the way down the hallway, you're like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
So is there a space in any of the offices that you've had a hand in? And I know it hasn't been like, 5 years with Meta, so there's a lot more amazing successes to come. But has there been a space that you've felt really proud of, or that a space has been like just such a win and you've had your hand in and really maybe this is even coming from your time at Gensler and then coming in and seeing that space utilized. But what's a good like fun success story for you?
Oh, okay. I don't know if I have any project ones while I've been at Meta yet, to be honest. I have a ton of projects that are finishing this summer.
Yes.
So many are finishing this summer. So I'm like, fingers crossed.
Yes.
But I took a big part in helping to build the program, actually. So before I like took over my projects in the beginning, I was like kind of raising my hand, like I can help with the strategy part of this. And like, because I had worked on that a lot at Gensler. So I was like, I can, help build this actual utilization-based program. And I think that I can definitely feel very proud of, just because I was able to take a lot of what I've known from past projects and worked with Gensler, and then had working with Meta while there.
Yeah.
And help create a cohesive program with them in partnership with like 1 million people. So I think that was like the smartest thing I ever did, because it gave me the opportunity to jump right in and meet 1 million people.
I bet.
Because so many people were involved in building the program, and they were more than happy to have me come join and really like take all the conversations we were having and translate it into like a simple document for people to use and understand.
Well, you went straight to the guts. You went straight to kind of the heartbeat of the company. Like, how are our people using these spaces? How did we think they were using them? What's the data showing? And that's amazing that I think you guys are ahead of the game. I mean, I always feel like San Francisco is a little bit more ahead of the game just because of all the tech access that y'all have out there. But the data utilization is so huge. I wish more companies either had access to that.
Yeah.
Because I can only imagine how much more successful you're able to be simply by having data and statistics showing you where people are and how long they're staying there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I have one more question for you. Emily, what brings you joy?
Ooh, that's, I think, kind of easy. I feel like for me, it definitely, I'm like a big weekend warrior.
Oh, I love it.
So I love my job and I love design, but I also just like love disconnecting. And I love, like, we are always behind the screen.
Yes.
And I feel like where I find inspiration, where I find peace, where I find my joy is for sure out in nature. So I'm so happy to live in California, Northern California, and just have the opportunity to honestly just get in my truck with my husband and we just go into the mountains on the weekends.
That is so fun.
And it's really just simple. So I think disconnecting, like having that time to like recharge
so important
is so important for, all of us, right? Like finding a way to find that joy. It just helps you like be a better person all the way around.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
It's
so
you
kind of
have to
simple.
disconnect.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know if it's our generation or being females or being kind of at this like kind of intersection of our careers, right?
Yeah.
Like we're not newbies anymore, but we're also not at the top of our careers
Oh,
either.
what a
So
funny
you've got that
time,
middle-
right?
What a funny time. I find that sometimes it's hard to give myself permission to disconnect.
Yeah.
And I have to remember how it's crucial. If I'm going to be able to do my job well, I have
Totally.
to disconnect.
Yeah.
I have to say, I can get that. I can get to that email tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Like there's just, I'm going to unplug tonight.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be, we're going to watch trash TV instead.
I'm such a big advocate of that. Because like, I love my peers. Everybody works so incredibly hard and I see it and I'm like so proud of them. And I'm just like, but like, if we're going to like keep doing this, keep becoming the leaders we want to be and keep growing in our careers and like kind of like expand and be different leaders than we've seen, like we're learning from the younger generations, our peers, our leaders. But I think there's a lot to take from that and like to just become, the leaders we want to be.
Yeah.
So it's just like, we do need to take the time for ourselves.
Yes. Our director of digital media, he has encouraged me recently, and like this should not have been as mind-blowing as it was, which is a total confession because it was mind-blowing and that's embarrassing. But he was like, okay, Wesley, if you're going to have like good conversations, or if you're going to go out and have a conversation with an end user and talk about workplace, you need to have experienced other things. Like you can't just be behind your computer answering emails, jump into something and be creative. You can't be, you can't have these like unique thoughts if your brain is going like 24/7 all the time. He's like, take a second and walk up and down the streets of Fulton. And even if it's not going into a showroom during design days, pop into like a cool restaurant.
Yeah.
And he was like, go like just watch people interact with, like, that's crazy talk. Like there's
Like,
no
what?
time for that.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's crucial. Like creativity requires shutting down and like you and your husband going out into the mountains and just like recharging and doing nothing tech related.
Yeah.
Is
No
going
Wi-Fi.
to make
There's like
you-
literally no service, which
it's
is
amazing.
great.
It's
Yeah.
like the antithesis to what you're doing day in and day out. And
Yes.
it's so critical. I
Yeah.
love that y'all do that.
Yeah, because I feel like that's where we find the best inspiration.
Yeah.
I mean, even speaking, like going on your walks, like not observing the workplace is probably where we find the best inspiration.
That's exactly right.
Like going into the park, going to the restaurant, experiencing other places.
I feel like sometimes I travel a decent amount.
Yeah.
And going in and out of hotels has been some of the best
yeah.
workplace research I've done in a long time. And like admittedly not maybe intentional at first. But then just realizing like some spaces you walk in and you're like, oh, this is great.
You want to be there.
Yes. And then others
Yeah.
where I'm like, is there a chance to change this reservation?
Yes,
This is
totally.
not good.
That like will bother my husband because I'm like, I will pick some things. I mean, I want good food, but I also want to have good vibes.
Oh, for sure.
Like I don't really want to go to a place that's not cute.
No.
But that's a trend that's the trend I love right now is the hospitality trend.
Me too.
Because that is just like, that's where it's at. Like, I feel like there's so much to learn from hospitality spaces and how layered they are. and you walk in and they're so unique to the brand, to the culture, to the place. And I want to bring that more to workplace. That's like super key. And I see it happening and it makes me so, so happy.
Yes.
There's some workplaces, my old, at Gensler, they're working on, I'm so impressed. It's amazing. And what's kind of cool about that is like you can partner with hospitality designers.
Right.
So like your firm might have that, or maybe you want to get into hospitality. It's like bring it into the workplace.
Bring it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, the best workplaces feel, it's almost like I'm having like a light bulb moment. It's almost like we used to not compare workplaces to hospitality at all. It's like the trend had to come to give us permission, or maybe COVID had to come to give us a little bit of permission to be a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah.
Maybe we can find a silver lining in it that way. But for a long time in workplace design, it was a little bit more like dressed up.
Totally.
Like we had to be, like having too much fun felt risky. Mm-hmm. And now this kind of trend has come along, and I'm with you. Like I'm okay if the trendiness of it goes away. I hope we never lose that passion to take what hospitality does really well and put it into these workplace environments.
Totally. Yeah.
Well, this has been so much fun.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you, Emily. This was so much fun.